Hello and welcome to my presentation on multiculturalism and the classroom. My name is Jordy Daniel. I do apologize if my voice is dragging a little. I am fighting a cold. I apologize for that. But today we're going to take a look into the way cultural backgrounds in the classroom really do affect student outcomes and classroom management in general. So first off, to get a really good understanding, this is a testimony from teachers that use multicultural education in their classrooms. So we're just going to see how they express it on their own.
Our veteran staff are just a year in the building, and our new staff were fresh out of college. And I guess they thought they were prepared to deal with their first population. And then they got here with the kids, and they're not. And she said, we're background, that all white, Catholic schools, and background, and then my first 5 years of teaching were in the Catholic schools as well, all white. And then when I came to the public schools, it was a world of difference for them and me, and I had to learn how to relate to them, which was weird.
Welcome to this course on becoming a culturally responsive teacher. This class is going to take us on a journey, a very personal journey, what it means to become culturally competent, a personal journey, and a professional journey, what it means to be a culturally responsive teacher in a classroom. Sometimes we talk about diversity, we sound like we think race. That's key. Race is key. We're going to talk about modern race here. But we need to recognize that there's no child in your classroom who doesn't know the whole set of nuances. And one of the most powerful strategies that we have is that young people, students that we work with, that they have a sense that this teacher, this classroom, this moment of my life, believes in me, and sees me, respects me. So this is the doorway that I think cultural responsive teachers should believe, and then the primary vehicle for that is through relationship.
Alrighty. I'll have this link attached to the notes as well. So if you'd like to look at this video more in depth, just for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and continue. So next we talk about multiculturalism in the classroom, and a lot of times teachers see that simply as race or ethnicity. However, multiculturalism is inclusive to every single student in the classroom based on their own individual background. It's not only the color of their skin or the heritage that they're raised in, but it's also including their economic background, their personal orientation. Certain beliefs and morals even can be considered a culture that they belong to. And examples can include, your gender, economic background, religion, and pretty much any characteristic trait. And the reason that these are important to be defined is because usually when thinking about multiculturalism, we think about heritage and we think about, like I said, ethnicity. But in the classroom, we're full of multitudes of cultures that are just integrated and work together. And for this reason, with such a diverse classroom, teachers should want to promote success for students in order for everyone to be able to succeed and achieve. So what is cultural inclusion? So we keep talking about multiculturalism in the classroom. A really good way to kind of set that foreground that all cultures are embraced in the classroom is to begin with a class orientation day. And I personally believe that it's a good way to start off your school year, just because you're able to set off classroom norms, and when you set off your classroom norms, you incorporate a safe environment. And the thing that's really important about that is that when you set that safe environment, it allows students to feel welcome and not secluded, and not even inclusive, not to feel secluded, sorry. But more included in the classroom and joined into as one. Cultural inclusion kind of helps reduce racial tension. That's something that a lot of teachers don't really take into consideration. But with curriculum that points fingers at people, and with history just all over the place, tension in the classroom is a natural occurrence that could happen, and that's something that should be considered when approaching multiculturalism in the classroom. Another idea that we see with cultural inclusion is allowing students of all backgrounds to be accommodated for and incorporating their culture into the curriculum. You can provide different perspectives on examples for history. Usually American history books will give you the perspective from the history side of America. However, what about if we saw it from the British side for different types of wars or encounters with America? Just because one point of view may be different from another doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong or inaccurate, but it's good to give them that open-mindedness just to remove things such as bigotry, racism, prejudice because of that lack of knowledge. It's really, really essential to be inclusive of different cultures to help students feel welcome and to also increase the knowledge of students. It's something that should be really considered. So it's time to differentiate. Differentiation has come in different forms of meeting learning needs, meeting diverse learners, and when we take multiculturalism into consideration, it's pretty much incorporating cultural themes and references that are relevant to the student. That way they can connect to the material much better. And now remember, when I say cultural, I do not mean simply, their ethnicity or race, but I'm talking about, youthful items such as, maybe it's social media, maybe it's even pop culture, or maybe it is in, LGBT rights or different perspectives in history. Perhaps, such as me being a math teacher, perhaps seeing perspectives from different types of learners, seeing how an ESL student sees a math problem, or seeing how a GT student sees a math problem may open the doors and open the minds of different students. You can really appeal to the masses and even the social makeup of your classroom just by making these small differences and adding in all this information. So again, something to take into consideration. So when taking your teaching to be much more culturally responsive, that's when the teacher takes an active decision and active motion to accommodate their students of different backgrounds and demographics. Something that's really interesting that some teachers may use is an inventory for students. I've heard English teachers take an inventory of students' interests to see what type of books really appeal to them. You could do the same format for various subjects that will be taught in school, and you can kind of figure out where the students come from a personal favoritism background. You can see what they're interested in and see where their beliefs are shaping their thoughts. Because of this very intricate favoritism or likes or dislikes, a teacher can make a huge connection between the material and the student's normal everyday life. So doing things like inventories or other types of approachable methods, it really helps teachers to be culturally responsive during teaching. Now, one of the really great inclusive methods is found in Forston, Grant, and Hollis. They usually have the differentiation mindset in 7 building blocks: knowing the learner, traits of a quality teacher, quality curriculum, classroom learning environment, flexible teaching and learning time resources, instructional delivery and best practices, assessment, evaluation, and grading. Now, with each of these elements, it's something interesting to take from a multicultural point of view. These are just simply differentiation instructions that are very general and can be applied to different aspects of teaching. However, when it comes to multicultural teaching, each of these elements can be tweaked a little to better suit the students. When it comes to quality curriculum, perhaps it's not only the district curriculum, but it's also curriculum that appeals to your students and will help them in future life. Something that's another interesting adjustment you can make with assessment, evaluation, and grading. Perhaps a standardized test isn't as beneficial as Eurocentric mindsets have set in the past, especially with our culture. Perhaps different types of learning styles and methods from across the world and different backgrounds can better meet the needs of your students. And that's where multiculturalism really does come into consideration. If you incorporate that mindset with these 7 building blocks, it really helps any teacher to really develop their classroom to a really well-rounded fit. Again, the importance of multicultural education really can't be stressed enough. Geneva Gay has these wonderful, wonderful quotes from an article, and each of these coaches really adds on to the importance of multicultural education. It really helps shine the light on how students need it and why students need it now more than ever. It really helps to connect to students in a way that normal differentiation doesn't really help out or doesn't really connect as effectively. I strongly believe that multicultural education can help our students in today's society and even in your own classroom really benefit and be able to relate to your curriculum in a way that you wouldn't really be able to notice beforehand. Inclusion is important in the classroom, and taking multicultural education into consideration is something that will really help a teacher connect with every single student in their classroom, hopefully, and make sure that their class is more suitable and a safe haven for learning and enrichment. These are references. If you are interested in any of these, they will be in the Prezi link attached to this document. Again, wonderful resources. They've all been compiled to create this presentation. If you have any questions, I'll be available. Thank you so much.